is Randy Haig, and welcome to Polyjuice West Island. Today on the show, we have an interview with Jennifer Harper, Executive Director of Community Perspective and Mental Health, done by Michael Miller, followed by Poetry with Michael Miller, and the second part of the show, we'll know more about the Omega Center with an interview with Francis Crowley by Bill McQuaig. Stay with us, so we have an interesting show set up for you today. Stay tuned.
You are now listening to Polyjuice West Island, the radio show that helps you understand the world of mental health.
Hi, this is Michael Miller, and I'm pleased to welcome Jennifer Harper, Executive Director of Community Perspective in Mental Health. Hi, Jennifer. How are you today?
I'm well, and how are you?
Good. I'm great. So, Perspective, to open it up, what does Perspective do? What is its main goal, and what are its programs?
Our main goal is to support adults living in the community that are coping with mental illness. Our role in that is to help support these individuals attain their goals. We do that via our community workers, and we offer support of long-term community support. Long-term, on average, is anywhere between 2 to 5 years. And essentially what we're doing is we're going out to the individuals in their homes, or nearby their homes, and working with them to help them obtain their goals that they've outlined that they would like to achieve.
Is breaking isolation one of the main goals? Like I see in the pamphlet here, it says "You are not alone." Is that important? Like the feeling that you have support, that you're not isolated. You know, some people with mental health problems could kind of be in their place by themselves, and they go out with the social worker, and then the social worker can help them get plugged into programs. Would you say that's accurate? Yeah.
Absolutely. I think isolation is a big factor. It's not the only factor, but it impacts all of our daily living. When we have friends that we can share some things with, that it really helps. And unfortunately, with mental illness, that a lot of the individuals that we can see is that they become very isolated, either not as involved with either their friends or their community or sometimes work that they would like. And so sometimes it's voluntary, sometimes it's not. And so the isolation is one of the barriers that we try to help break. And we do that by, first of all, again, through our community workers. Sometimes our community workers are the main individual that these people have contact with. And socializing with that individual is a big aspect of that. And so through that, we try to get individuals to be involved either in community programs or just even in their community, at their local library or community center, anywhere that they can get involved and be with people. I think breaking isolation is a big step, and for a lot of people, and it's a very rewarding step also once people see that they're accepted And I think that once they get out there and don't have that, excuse me, fear of rejection from other people, that it really opens up a lot of doors.
Yeah, that's great. Because I know myself, I take part in different things that Perspective does, like different programs, such as the hockey program, which is in conjunction with, I think, Centre Bienvenue.
Yes.
And then also the swimming that David Rowe and I started as well. And so, these are great programs, yeah.
Absolutely, and I think those are great examples of how we want people to take part in their own community, that there's things that are available that that once they start getting involved in, they could really, appreciate and continue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. What are your particular responsibilities, you yourself as executive director?
As executive director, my role is to really oversee the organization, to make sure that it is run well and that we meet the needs of the community. So part of it is that we want to always continue to improve our services, and as things in style changes, well, types of programs can change too. So we want to be up to date on the newer trends or the different needs that are emerging from our community. And so we look at what things that we can offer and what is missing, and if it is in our mandate, how can we adjust our services to meet those needs of the individuals in our community. For an example, could be as our population is changing, that we might have some individuals that are a bit younger, in the next few years, as opposed to where we had more of an aging population. So how could we meet that need? And globally, that's just part of it with the programs. And the other part, too, is, running the organization in the sense of with our board of directors, who we work with, who are all volunteers, and doing a lot of networking and fundraising, really getting the word out about our organization. And so those are in a quick blurb a bit about my job, and it's really to get the feedback from a lot of people and to look at the organization and see where we're taking that feedback and how can we make that impact, that positive impact in the community over the longer term. So my role is really to be looking where we're at today and how do we want to get where we want to be for tomorrow.
So how do you see the future of Perspective? Like, do you see what changes do you see? I guess you were mentioning the youth was a change, so perhaps more programs for youth, things like the hockey or swimming or things. What kind of programs do you foresee as possible in the future?
Well, I think when we look at programs for the future, I think it's really depending on what the trends are, where our needs are in the community. So in order to be able to predict what's going to be happening in the future, is that we need to consult our clients that we have now to see what is missing. So what we're seeing right now, if you're looking at the trends of our services, that we have always maintained our support program, and we're looking at how can we, improve that. And so we're always looking at different ways to improve it. But also on top of that, some of the smaller groups that you've seen is something that we've been working on for the last few years. That we've seen that need where some people don't quite fit into, a large group, and it's easier to start trying something new in a small group. So we've been working on those developments. Other areas that we're looking at is trying to have more, involvement with our organization, because a lot of times our clients have the opportunity to work with their community worker, and but their community worker and the organization are much more than just that. And we're looking at how we can go forward and make a positive impact in the lives of individuals. As for particular programs per se that we're looking at, we're trying in the housing department, we're looking at developing a service that we could provide more supports for individuals looking at going into an apartment. Some people that might be unsure about the possibility of maintaining the newness of being in an apartment on their own, budgeting, cooking, and we're looking at starting up a program for those individuals in the short future, in the near future.
Yeah. I know myself, I have to thank you very much because I've received a lot of help from Perspective over the years, and it's a very helpful organization. I always felt at home in Perspective, definitely.
It's really great to hear that. I think this, getting that feedback is very, very positive for us, and we don't always get the thanks, I guess, or the feedback of how beneficial it can be from everyone, and it's really nice to hear.
Yeah, that's great. So to wrap up, what would the contact information be for Perspective?
Well, people can contact us either by phone at 514-696-0972. And if not, you can also contact us on our website at www.pcs-cpmh.org. And we'd be more than happy to respond to you via email. Our email addresses are listed on our website also.
Well, thank you very much, Jennifer. It's been lovely to talk to you today. And I look forward to many new things in the future with Perspective.
Thank you, Michael. Likewise.
Fully Dosed West Island, where madness is truly a softer experience.
Time to rise. It seems like all hope is lost. Died, God dead, and nothing remains but despair. An empty shell of a life. Facing the emptiness, the end, with the last breath comes a whisper, a vision of another world. The Father calls, seems distant at first, but the feeling begins to grow. An increasing willingness to yield to the Father's grace. Do you know Christ passes no one by? Do you know He loves you? There is the Word of God. He has spoken, and all false tongues shall cease to speak. This is your awakening. Renounce your false self and give way to the Father. This ego is not you. Yield to higher self. I cease to speak. I am quiet, and from this stillness I reach out beyond myself to greater wisdom. Not mine, but thy will be done. It will enchant you, it will delight you, it will transform you, bringing the darkness to the light. It is time to rise. Rise from your seeming death and awaken unto Him. What will the death of death look like? Just to be curious. Wondering what new colors will arise, what will come into view. Aren't you just a little curious? What will I see and what will I be when all blocks to the awareness of love's presence are let go? When all pain and fear and hell are gone, what will I awaken to? It is a gradual process. Gently taken by the hand, we are led up a staircase leading to heaven, each step bringing us closer. Each small flittering of our eyelids, another glimpse of the glory beyond. Why dilly-dally with hell when heaven's right around the corner? Heaven is now, within your reach now. Can you still justify condemning yourself or another part of you as a brother when you could be free? A holy instant away from bliss, peace. I am insane to throw away heaven for hell. Begin to awaken. Be still. And know that He is God. There is nothing to fear.
let go of our premisconceptions and demystify the subject of mental health. We will help you see things more clearly.
Hi, my name is Joel McQuaig, and I'm coming to you from the Day Center, the Omega Day Center. And it is my pleasure to bring you what should be a very interesting interview with one Francis Caporali. He is the clinical director of the Omega Day Center. Now, Francis, my first question is, what brought you to doing both psychology and working with the community at the same time, really?
That's a good question. I was looking for a job. And when I came to Montreal from Philadelphia 31 years ago, and I wanted to work in the community because I'm sort of not cut out for institutions. And so that's what I did.
Okay. The next question I have for you is, speaking of institutions and whatnot, the status of mental health nowadays and how the community organizations such as Omega play in the role in that, and you being a psychologist, I wanted to get your take on the status of mental health both in Canada and the States, because I know they're radically different, actually.
Yeah, they're different. I'm not completely up to date on what's happening in the States. Of course, you know that down there it's a profit-making enterprise. Hospitals and clinics are run for profit. So, and it's got a lot to do with how much money you have and how much insurance you have, whether you can even get decent care. Mm-hmm. Up here, of course, it's different. And I think that, I think that the West Island is an example of what can be done in the community. And how the community services in the community, mental health services, how they complement the services that are offered publicly.
Okay, the next question I have is the importance of the balance between therapy and medication. I know you have a strong view on that. I'd just like to get your opinion.
Well, my view is practical. Okay, we know that with mental illness there are a number of different causes which are not very clear, but some of them are, and we also know that there is a physical aspect to it in terms of brain chemistry and things like that. And before the advent of psychiatric medications, the fate of people who had serious mental illness was pretty bad, and they were often hospitalized and thrown into back wards and put in straitjackets and given shock treatments, and it was a totally different scene. But with the advent of the antipsychotics and the antidepressants and the mood stabilizers, things have become a lot better so that somebody who has a serious mental illness can live a either normal or close to normal life.
So I'd like to know what your opinion is on the importance of the specialized buildings, because I don't know what else to call them, for people with mental health so that they can get their needs met and also live a normal life.
Well, obviously I think that they're important and valuable because we did build the apartment building at Cloverdale. The idea is that people can become, they can have a life that's much more normal than they would ordinarily have if they have the support that they need. And so specialized housing is a way of providing that support, and we hope that people can live happy, satisfying lives that way. And I know that a lot of people who are living in our apartments would never have been able to have their own apartment had it not been for a service like that and a project like that.
Okay, and just to clarify, because Omega also has a thing called the group home, which to my knowledge is the only officially recognized group home by the Douglas and stuff like that. What is the difference between that and the apartments?
Okay. Yes. The group home is more supervision, more intensive supervision, and basically we are at the group home. We're preparing people to be able to take the next step in their residential. Take the next step towards living more autonomously, more independently, and the people that often come directly from the hospital, or they come from situations where they need to be stabilized and supervised, especially medication, and they need to learn the normal everyday living skills that they're going to need if they're going to live more independently. And we actually have people living in the apartments who stayed at our group home first and became able to live in the apartments.
Mm-hmm. And I myself am friends with a couple of them, and they are doing great, where otherwise they probably wouldn't have the quality of life that they currently have. I'd like to say myself that I am grateful to both you, Francis, as you were one of the 3 people on the board who picked the people for the Residence Omega, and Omega itself for giving me the opportunities that I have, which is why I was so eager to do this interview with you today. It's my way of being able to let as many people know as possible that these services do exist, and that, although the government doesn't advertise these services, I feel that I have the voice and whatnot, and I would like to be able to do that as much as I can. And I feel that you are also the same thing. You'd like to get it out there as much as you can.
I'd like to get it out there that people who have mental illness are not a different species of human. That they are people like us, and they like us. They are people like anybody else. The same feelings, the same hopes, the same dreams, and if with a little bit of adaptive housing and a little bit of support, they can have a much happier life.
Okay. And in closing, I think the last question that I have would be that, you get to work with all of these wonderful people in the building here every day, and people like myself. And I think it would be nice for the listeners to know that you guys, that you guys are passionate about this. You do this because you want to see us succeed, and,
Well, certainly we don't do it in order to get rich, and it's I like to say that it's more of a vocation than a job, and basically it's a source of great satisfaction to know that what you're doing is worthwhile.
Okay, well, I would like to thank you, Francis Caporelli, for joining us today. It's been very informative, and would you like to leave any contact information for the listeners?
Well, people that are interested in residential services can call our residential number at 514-683-7224. And if they're interested in either the group home or the apartments. And for people who are looking for a center, a community center where they can participate in activities, etc., they can call us here at 631-2760. That is the Omega Center in Dorval.
Okay, well, again, thank you.
listening to Follow This West Island, providing valuable information on the world of mental health.
That's the end of the show. I'd like to thank Jennifer Harper from Perspective Communautaire and Francis Caparelli from Omega Center. And also thanks to Michael Miller.
Yes, thank you, Randy. I really enjoyed doing the interview with Jennifer. And thank you to PCSM for the great workshop. And I'll see you soon.
Okay, and Joel McQuaid?
Yes, the interview with Francis was a lot of fun to do. I'd like to thank PCSM for having this workshop, and we'll see you soon.
And don't forget to search us on the web, and see you next time.